guys, welcome back to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Here on this channel, I teach you how to make easy and delicious recipes perfect for sharing with your loved ones to help you create beautiful, long-lasting memories. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a recipe known as Galatopita. It comes from the northern part of Greece, and it's basically a custard pie that is absolutely incredibly delicious. Now, it's different from a regular custard pie. If you've had the regular custard pie known as Galatopita, which is like the queen of Greek desserts. If baklava is the king, Galatopita has to be the queen. It's very well known. This right here is even better than that. What makes it better, you say? There's a layer on the bottom in between the phyllo sheets of it tastes like caramelized nuts. They're walnuts with sugar and cinnamon that once they bake in the oven, you have a crunchy sweet bite along with that velvety, creamy filling, that custard filling that's in the center, and together it just tastes incredible. We're going to begin by making the custard part of it. The whole thing comes together really quickly. It's very easy and it's super impressive. So fire up that coffee pot and call some friends because it's about to get good over here. I'm going to add 4 cups of whole milk to my saucepan with half of the sugar, and I'm not going to mix it. Now, this is a trick that I just learned recently from a pastry chef, actually. And what that does, the sugar sinks down to the bottom and it keeps the milk from burning. Isn't that brilliant? So we're going to wait for this to almost come to a boil. In the meantime, we're going to get the rest of the custard ingredients ready. And the best thing about Greek desserts is the ingredients are always so simple and basic. So in my mixing bowl here, I have 2 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. I'm going to add the remaining sugar. Fine semolina flour. Semolina flour can be found usually now in the baking section of your supermarket. If you can't get it there, then it's always available in a Middle Eastern or Mediterranean grocery store. I'm also going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch and about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to whisk all of this together until it's combined. The milk is nice and hot. You don't want it to come to a boil. You just want it to get really nice and steaming hot. Now I'm going to take some of the milk mixture and temper the egg mixture, which really all that means is we're going to raise the temperature of the egg custard so that way they don't curdle. So just pour a little bit at a time and whisk. And now I'm just going to transfer all of this back into the pot. Give it a nice whisk, and I'm going to return it to the heat over medium heat, and I'm going to continuously whisk this until it thickens. Do not step away, because if you do and the semolina goes to the bottom and this thing burns, you're going to have to start all over again. It thickens pretty quickly. The second it begins to boil, then you want to take it off the heat because it thickens immediately. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter to this. And you want it to be at room temperature or slightly cool. And I'm going to add some vanilla extract, a heaping teaspoonful. Whisk it all together and then just set it aside. Now to make the nut mixture. So I have ground almonds here. To that, I'm going to add some granulated sugar and some ground cinnamon. Then I'm just going to mix it all up. Now we're going to make the crust with phyllo. Now I'm using number 4, which is the traditional, the most common phyllo pastry. They're thin layers of phyllo. You want to make sure that you thaw them out overnight in the refrigerator because they do come frozen. And then you're going to take them out and leave them at room temperature for at least an hour. That should be good enough. Then they're going to be easy to work with. So I have some melted unsalted butter here. And before I start, I'm just going to brush the bottom of my pie pan here. This is a 10-inch deep dish pie pan or pie dish. Put a little bit of butter on that. And now I'm going to open up the phyllo packet and I'm going to layer the phyllo sheets one at a time. I'm going to drizzle some butter on each one, and then I'm going to sprinkle some of the nut mixture until we end up with 6 or 7 sheets. The top sheet is not going to have any nut mixture. It's just going to be plain phyllo. So any leftover phyllo that you have, immediately roll it up and wrap it up in plastic so you can use it at another time. Wrap it up tightly and refrigerate it. Otherwise, it's going to, dry up and crumble up and you won't be able to have any use for it. Now we're going to pour the custard into this. Now, if your custard looks like it's thickened a little bit too much, you can always thin it out by adding a 1/4 cup of milk to it. And that's what I'm going to do right now. If you have some brown bits on the bottom, just leave that. Don't put it into the pastry. Go ahead and spread it all around. Oh, that looks beautiful already. Now the leftover phyllo that's hanging over the edges, I'm just going to brush that with butter. And then I'm going to gather it up and roll it to give it a little bit of a rustic crust. And then take the remaining butter and just brush it all around the edges. Now here's the cherry on top of this dessert. I have a whole egg here that's at room temperature. To it, I'm going to add some granulated sugar. This is a 1/4 cup. And I'm going to whisk it all together and I'm going to pour it on top. You could help spread it a little bit. Now it's time to bake. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to bake this on the center rack for about 40-45 minutes or until the top becomes beautifully golden and the custard has set. It's still going to jiggle a little bit, so you don't want to over bake it. You're looking for color. When it's beautifully golden, take it out and then let it rest for a good 30 minutes at room temperature. And then I cannot wait to cut into it and show you what it looks like. So the Galatopita took about 50 minutes to bake. You're looking for color, like I said. Once it's golden brown, take it out and set it aside so that way it can set. Now it needs to set at room temperature. This tastes good room temperature. It also tastes delicious very cold. So you can make this a day ahead of your party and then just take it out right when it's time to serve or an hour before or something like that. But it does taste amazing at room temperature. So as long as you wait, I would say an hour. Once it's baked, wait an hour before you cut into it so that we can cut really nice slices and it does not fall apart. Go ahead and dust some powdered cinnamon on top and serve it. Make some coffee. Greek coffee is great with this. Tea is good, and so is American coffee, so it's your choice. You definitely are going to want to call some friends over. If you're in a quarantine right now like we are, then just make this for your family and share it. They're going to love you so much more when they take a bite of it. Speaking of bites, it is time to taste it. And when you cut down to the bottom, it's a little hard because it should be crisp. Let's see. Oops, I almost lost it. Oh my God. 2 thumbs up. This is like heaven in your mouth. That crunchy, caramelized, cinnamony nut mixture that's in between the phyllo is probably the best part of this whole thing. Although I don't know, because that custard is super velvety and creamy. It's velvety, it's creamy, and of course you can put some citrus zest in here. I forgot to mention that while we were making it. You could zest a lemon or some orange or clementine, whatever you have, and put it in there if you like a little bit of fruitiness in it. The exact recipe is right under the video in the description box. All of the measurements, instructions, tips, tricks, everything is under there. So go ahead and check it out. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you want to learn how to make next. If you want to make Galactopita rolls, which is pretty much something like this without the nut filling, and it's phyllo and a creamy custard inside, and then it's doused with honey syrup, then you're going to want to click on this annotation right here, and I will see you right over there. Bye, guys.